Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to have a conversation, have a little story time, a little chit chat, whatever you like to call it. And I wanted to come on here to talk about the raft and the rainbow. Again, the raft and the rainbow. But let me just put my disclaimer in really quick. As this video is intended for educational purposes only. And the information in this video or the content in this video is for general information and educational purposes, and it is not a substitute for professional advice. Okay? All right, so let's go. So, what made me want to talk about the raft and the rainbow? And as you can see, I'm happily wearing my rainbow colors. Hello? And I know right now I may sound like a man, but it is early in the morning and I'm just getting up. But I wanted to get on here really quick and have a little chit chat with you all, if you don't mind. Now, if you're still listening, let me just go ahead and continue. So what brought on this video, the purpose of this video, well, the reason why I wanted to make this video is earlier in the week, we had a bad storm here in Miami. And I mean, it was raining so hard one early morning that I woke up out of my sleep. I mean, the rain was pounding so hard on my roof. I was like, Jesus Christ, what is going on? So anyway, make a long story short, I got up, got ready for work, went to work, and by the time I had gotten to work, the storm had all the rain and stuff. It had kind of like ceased. It was no longer raining, and I was happy about that because I was able to get out of my car and walk into my building without getting wet. Excuse me, y'all. I'm drinking a little coffee at the same time. So anyway, I'll say about 30 minutes in, 30 minutes in, I was walking in this open outside area within our building. It's called the North Patio. And I heard a young lady say, "Oh, wow, look at the rainbow. It's so beautiful. I haven't seen one in a while." And when I looked up, it really like caught me off guard. I was like in awe, and just instantly I was like, "Oh, thank you, Lord, for your promise." And I remember that because I had been reading in the Old Testament for quite some time now. I would say I've probably been studying the Old Testament for about 6 to 7 months, right now. And it brought me back to the story of Noah and the ark. Now, if you was raised up in the church, or if you're a churchgoer, you're a Bible reader, you know about the story of Noah and the ark. So somewhere between Genesis chapter 6, the Bible, God had determined that he was going to destroy the earth because he said it was corrupt and it was wicked. And he had actually, he said the people, the humanity, mankind, they were corrupt and they were wicked. And he had actually regretted making mankind. And so he said that enough was enough. He was going to destroy the earth and every living thing, creature crawling upon the earth, birds, everybody was going to die. And he was going to destroy the earth with flood waters. And the and so one person he found favor in, who had been a follower of him, who had been worshiping him and living in his commandments, and his name was Noah. So he found favor in Noah because of Noah's righteousness. And so he went to Noah. He told Noah, he said, "Noah, listen, I'm getting ready to destroy the earth." Now, y'all know I'm paraphrasing, okay? You can go read it. The story of Noah in the ark is in Genesis chapter 6 through 9. Okay. Genesis is the first book in the Bible. All right. So to continue on with my paraphrasing, he said, "Hey, Noah, listen, I'm getting ready to destroy the world because everybody in this world is corrupt and wicked. But I found favor in you because I found that you are a righteous man. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save you and your family, and I'm going to allow you all to live." So he said, "But what I need you to do is I need you to go ahead. I want you to build this ark. And this is how you're supposed to make the ark. So he gave him the blueprint of the ark. And this is what I want you to put in the ark. And it was every living creature, I want to say male and female, every bird, male and female. I believe wild animals, male and female, every living creature that walked, flew, and crawled on the land of the earth. Okay, not the sea, because you can't go down in the sea and save nobody, no animals. But he did say every living creature, animal, bird, wild beasts, plants, food, I guess the food, the crops or whatever. And I want you to take those things in the ark with you. And so Noah did it as he was told. And then God brought on the flood rains from heaven. Okay. And it rained 40 days and 40 nights. And eventually, after that was over with, God remembered Noah. And then he stopped the rain, he stopped the winds. He brought the winds, rather. He stopped the rain, he brought in the winds, and the water began to decrease from the earth, right? Make a long story short. So after that was over with, God spoke to Noah and he made a covenant with him. And he told him, he said, listen, I'm going to put a rainbow in the sky. He said, and every time I see that rainbow, I'm going to be reminded of my covenant that I made with you and every living creature that that's on the face of the earth this day. That I will never ever destroy the earth with flood waters, right? Never again. He said he would never destroy all living things with flood waters ever again. He said, when I see that covenant, when I see the rainbow in the sky, that is my covenant. That is my promise I made to you and the earth and all living things that walk upon the earth, that I would never do that again. Because remember, he was he regretted making mankind. And when he decided to destroy the world, the earth rather, he said, I'm going to destroy mankind and everything in it. And that was his wrath. He brought on the wrath of God and he destroyed everything, right? But he said he'll never do that again. And so I'm going to place this rainbow in the sky as a reminder of my covenant, right? And so when I think about that, um, it made me go to Romans chapter 1, because Romans chapter 1 basically explains the wrath of God, on mankind, right? And what he did, why he was angry with mankind, and the things that mankind was doing that made him so angry. Okay. And he talked about how, because of their actions, how he hold on. He hold on a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a minute. So when you go to Romans chapter 1 and you go down to maybe like verse 18, it talks about God's wrath against sinful humanity, right? And it talks about how it says the wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all godless and wickedness of people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. And since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature has been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. And it just continues to go on and tells how um, instead of people glorifying God and giving thanks to him, they became futile and foolish. Their hearts became, oh God, let me try this again. It says, for although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, They became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look like a mortal human being and birds and animals and reptiles. Therefore, God gave them over to their sinful desires of their hearts, to sexual impurity for the degrading of their bodies with one another. And it goes on to explain the degrading of their bodies for one another and their shameful lusts and their unnatural relationships, and how women abandoned men and became, sexual with one another in the same way as men did the same shameful acts. And that's what it says. Men committed shameful acts with other men. So it says, furthermore, just as they did not think worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, so God gave them over to a depraved mind, so that what ought not to be done, so that they do what ought not to be done. So it says that God is the one, because of this, because of their shameful lust and desires and unnatural relationships. It says God gave them over to a depraved mind. And that is what the wrath of God is. That is a part of a wrath. That is a part, rather, of God's wrath. What does depraved mean? Let's look that up. Let's get a little deeper. Let's look it up. The definition of depraved. Let's see what that means. So it says depraved means morally corrupt or wicked. Okay? Morally corrupt or wicked. All right, let's go back to the word. It says they became filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, and depravity. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips, slanderers, God haters. Now, these are the things that God says are wicked, okay? God haters, arrogant and boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. They disobey their parents. They have no understanding, no fidelity, no love, no mercy. Although they know God's righteous decree, and although they know what God says, what God's word says, although they know God's righteous decree that those who do such things deserve death, they not only continue to do these very things, but also approve of those who practice them. Now, that second part is very deep for me. It says, they although they know God's righteous decree that those who do such things deserve death, they not only continue to do these very things, but they also approve those who practice them. So even when we are a part of or approve of the people that practice these things that God says is wicked, we are also considered wicked. Okay, so that was a little interesting for me, because sometimes you are a part of, or you do be a part of things or people that you see do things because you love them. You may have a relationship with them or whatever, and even though you may not, well, no, I was gonna say, even though you may not disagree, even though you may disagree with it, you still accept it. If that makes sense. I don't know. That just came to me. But anyway, let's go back to the so when I thought about God said how the world was wicked, I made the connection with Romans chapter 1 when it talks about God's wrath on a sinful humanity. Okay, and so His wrath at that time was to destroy the world and kill everything in it. But then he said He would never do that again. He would never flood the world and kill everything and all living things. And that was a covenant that He not only made with human or mankind, but He made it with the creatures, the animals, the every living thing that's on the land of the earth. And that was just really, really deep for me. So when I saw the rainbow and I heard, when I looked up at the rainbow on this specific day, it had a new meaning to me, right? And I said, wow, Lord, Thank you. I felt a little grateful, and I just thought about his promise. When prior to then, every time you think of the word rainbow, because the world's culture has perverted it and turned it into something that, as we know, compared to Romans chapter 1, that God is totally against. So they have made God's covenant with mankind a symbol for a worldly association that has no disconnection to the Father, to the point that people like you and I may not even wear anything representing a rainbow because we don't want to be misunderstood if we don't identify as such. So I don't know about you all, but that's how I would feel. I would never wear rainbow colors because years ago, it's been a very long time, but years ago when I did, I wore something out. It wasn't I think it was a dress, a rainbow dress or something. And it was really pretty. But someone approached me and asked me if I were gay. So because of that, it kind of made me feel very uncomfortable, and I just did not want to wear rainbow colors again. And even now, as I was Googling to buy this shirt, right? Because I said I'm no longer going to be not afraid. Afraid would not be the word. But I'm no longer going to deny myself of wearing something that I feel is a representation of God. And I don't care what the world culture has made it into. Because the next time somebody approaches me and asks me, I'm going to say, no, honey, I'm a part of God's promise. I am a part of God's covenant. I am a God of God's plan. I am a part of God's purpose. That's what my GP stands for. It has my pride is for God, God's pride, God's promise, the covenant that He made that every time it appears in the sky, that there's no destruction that will come upon the earth in flood waters because of His love for us. He would never do that again. Right? So that's a covenant that He made. And so we should be proud to wear our rainbow colors because we know for us as Christians, as followers of Jesus Christ, we know that our representation has a different meaning. And it is the first meaning. It is a meaning that was stolen from us. So I'm going to proudly wear my rainbow colors. And I'm no longer going to um oh God, I'm no longer going to deny myself of something that was originally meant for, or that originally came from the Heavenly Father. So that was the purpose of this video. We have to bring back God's promise, the representation of God's promise. And we should not be denying ourselves of something that the world has perverted and changed it into something that has a totally disconnection from God. Even when I was looking for my shirt, everything I've looked up that says rainbow said gay pride. Everything. And I said, no, it's God's pride. It's God's pride. So if you are in agreement with me, drop God's pride in the comments. If you are in agreement with me, go out and get your rainbow shirts. And never deny yourself again for wearing your rainbow colors because you know you have a different representation of what your rainbow colors mean. And you would have the opportunity to share and to educate and to provide knowledge when you are approached wearing your rainbow colors. That's all I had to say. I wanted to share that information. I wanted to give some knowledge, some clarity, and some understanding. And I thank you guys for listening to me. If you enjoyed what you listened to and you would like to hear more and you're looking to see more of what I bring to, of the type of content that I'm bringing, then make sure you like, comment, and follow me. You all have a blessed day.